actually seceded from the United States and become two separate city-states. But in between those two areas, there's a completely independent city known as Night City, which actually doesn't have a formal government. It's actually run by corporations. And so that's where you're going to be. So really anywhere in the world, you're kind of moved to this city because of the opportunities that it presented at the time.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can either roll a d10 and you can randomly see basically what your cultural origin is, or you can just pick one from the list. I had a couple people just kind of pick one from the list. So.
Okay. I'll roll a d10. And I got a 10.
You got a 10? So Oceanic or Pacific Islander? You could be Hawaiian.
And I'm trying to pronounce the bottom one. Palma.
Yeah, Pama. I think it's Nugan. Is that what it is? Nuyan? Because I know that's like a Nuyan, right? Or a New.
I know. I was drawn to that because of Shadowrun, with Nuyen being the cache.
Yeah. Well, here, you know what? Let me throw it in. Do a quick Google search because I'm an idiot, and I'll see if I can find out where it's from here. Oh man.
Hey, and just let you know, Jason,
yep.
or Justin, or you Jay guys, I just click record.
Yeah.
But I'll let you preview that.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually
it may be instructional for people, you know.
Yeah, it's actually Northern Australia.
Cool, do it.
Is that location? Yeah. Okay, and just let me know when you're ready for the next one.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll.
Okay, so that's just your cultural origin.
All right.
Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that this doesn't. What's going on here? Okay, so your personality is the second one.
All right, and roll another d10.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that a lot of people chose to randomize like from here on in. A lot of people were like, yeah, just give me random and I'll play it out. So
I just rolled a 1.
Okay, so you're shy and secretive.
Dang.
If you don't want it, you don't need to have it. You just pick from the list.
I love a challenge, you know what I'm saying? All right, go ahead.
All right, so next one is dress and personal style. So you're going to roll twice on this one. So your clothing style that you gravitate to, and then your hairstyle.
Clothing is 7.
Okay, bag lady. You look
5.
like a hobo.
It's 5. There you go.
All right, and then roll another d10 to see your hairstyle.
Yeah, I just rolled a 5 for that one.
Oh, for that one? Bald.
Yeah. Bald? Really?
Yeah.
Sweet. I want to have tattoos like that harpoonist from Moby Dick.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, shoot, what was it? Shoot, I did know his name. Crap.
I know. I can't think of it either. It's you're gonna Google it, ain't you?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna bother. I know, I did know his name at one point, but yeah. So you want to go with tattoos?
I'll roll. I'll keep rolling.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe
you can change it after if you're like. Nah.
Oh, I hit. Well, can I do 2 of them?
Sure, if you want.
Because I just rolled 2.
Yeah.
Now we'll keep it mirror shades. That'll work.
Okay. Okay, so then you're gonna write. So what do you value most?
What do I value most? Roll a d10. Is this another 2? Honor.
Honor.
Cool. That'll work. What can I roll to 1?
Yeah. So how do you feel about most people? So this isn't exactly who you like. Your teammates are going to rely on a little bit more. But this is how you treat other regular. Yeah.
This is 7.
7.
Oh.
People are obstacles to be destroyed if they cross me.
Dang. But you know, I appreciate honor.
Yeah. But if people get in your way, though.
Dang, this is mafia.
Yeah.
A good thing he has some mirror shades. He's shy, but hides behind it.
Okay.
All right.
The thing you value the most.
All right. A 1. I'm rolling ones like crazy.
Yeah, a parent.
Okay.
Okay.
Most valued possession you own.
Yep.
It's a 10. A letter.
10. A letter.
A letter from Mama.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. So your family's origin, where they came from originally.
All right. 7. Dang, I'm rolling either 1s, 2s, or 7s, or 10s.
Yeah. So, urban homeless. You lived in cars, dumpsters, and abandoned buildings shipping modules.
Which goes with the bag lady dress.
Okay. Your childhood environment.
All right. 4. So something different.
Yeah, so it means that you spent your childhood in a nomad pack. So what a nomads are is they're people that have kind of lived, they're not usually in the urban environments, they're usually in the outside of the wastelands of the United States, kind of like a road warrior type of situation.
Cool.
Where you're kind of like in a caravan that has maybe a bunch of RVs, a couple bikes, maybe some cars, and a lot of firearms in order to keep it protected. Yeah. So this says that you have roots in transport. So it means that the pack that you actually rolled with transported stuff probably in between cities. So you probably had like an entire caravan of transports where you may have been like a tower guard or a truck guard, either on a bike, a buggy, or just sitting maybe in a turret on a truck. Or it can be with the AVs, or what they have is Aerodyne flyers, which are just like superheated vans that give enough of a lift to create flying cars. Maybe you had one of these big transports that you were in on one of those, or even like a transport blimp, which they have here too, or just on a boat.
Yeah, reminds me of that old Damnation Alley.
Yeah.
Flick. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Okay. Yeah. So a family crisis that happened.
9.
9. Your family is cursed with a hereditary feud that has lasted for generations.
Sweet. All right.
Okay. And now we're going to see if you actually have any friends. Roll a d10 and subtract 7.
Subtract 7 friends. I rolled a 10.
A 10?
Subtract
so you have
3.
Yeah, so you have 3 friends. So these are people that you actually can rely on. So go ahead and roll 3 d10s, I guess, and we'll just do one after the other.
Okay. Got 9, 5, and a 3.
A 9, 5, and a 3. So 9 is someone that you know on the street.
All right.
5 is a former lover. And
go.
a 3 is a teacher or a mentor.
Okay.
Okay, and now your enemies. So go ahead, roll a d10 and subtract 7.
I rolled a 4 and subtract 7, so I've got negative.
Yeah, so you don't have any enemies.
Okay.
I mean, not from your past anyways.
All right.
Okay, we'll do the same again for tragic love affairs.
5.
5, nothing.
Oh.
So,
Kidnapped.
Yeah. All right, and then ultimately, what is your life goal?
1.
Get rid of a bad reputation.
Maybe. Maybe that's showing all my cards whenever
Yeah.
Whenever I don't need it to.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So that's pretty much what we have for most of the life path stuff. The rest of it is actually going to be related to whatever role you're going to play in. So right now, the idea that I have for this is you guys are going to be part of a small group of essentially your criminals for hire.
Okay.
So this is going to be your first opportunity to kind of elbow your way into this kind of criminal syndicate. So right now, I have everybody's kind of covered all the bases except for Techie. So,
Okay.
which means that you're going to be the guy that knows more about hardware. You'll probably be outfitting guns or modifying things or even finding ways to break in through doors and stuff like that, if that's something you want to do. But we can double up on some additional roles. So, we also have the solo, which is just a soldier.
Yeah.
We have the netrunner, which is a computer hacker. We have the med tech, which is pretty much the same of what you would kind of be doing as a techie, except it's more related with health and surgery and cybernetics. But to a certain extent, you can cover cybernetics too. And then there's a fixer, which is more like a criminal role, except that you're good at getting things as well. Like it's easier for you to shop because in this world,
That was a strange inclusion. I thought, as far as the fixer. It seems like that would be the Johnson, the guy that got you the contact.
The guy that you would go to. So there is a fixer that you're going to be working for, who's the guy who can get the contract to get you started. But I have Todd as a fixer as well, but he's going to be kind of your guy that you go to if you need equipment. So if it's like, we need this, like we need this gun, or we need this, we need to find a way to break a window quietly, or we got something to shoot out a generator through 4 feet of concrete, and you're like, yeah, sure, I can get something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So
no, I'm good with that.
With the tech.
Yeah, with the tech, because I mean it kind of factors into what.
Yeah. And what I'm hoping is if we have enough fun with this single game, if we can get it going. Maybe we can kind of continue it a little bit as a once a month, if we can, because I would really like to kind of get like a regular campaign of this going. All right. So
one thing, and I'll keep it very quick. That was I've never played Shadowrun, right? But that was one of the first games I ever got. Yeah. And what intrigued me about it was the fact that you can have like a team for hire and go out and take on jobs. You know what I mean? It kind of breaks it up and makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it also gives you some variety, because the thing is, it's not always going to be the same as like, I need you to steal the thing. It might involve maybe kidnapping, bodyguarding, FedExing, which is what they usually call like jobs where you have a thing that you need to give to somebody, right?
Yeah, it's just however you want to approach that job. You know what I mean? Yeah. Scout it out. So, I mean, to me, that's intriguing. So this is the first time I'll get to play anything similar to Shadowrun, which I've been wanting to play forever.
Yeah. So, the thing is, I read, I was a fan of Cyberpunk 2020. Only ran it once, and it was okay. It was a little bit ridiculous. I had a guy who was changing out of like armor-piercing ammo and piercing ammo, or armor-piercing ammo and regular ammo all the time. It was kind of a headache. But other than that, like I only ran it once, and it was okay. But I was like, I don't really need to go back to it. But I really liked the world, but I can see myself kind of really getting into this a little bit. There's a couple things that I'd like to...
Blade Runner.
Yeah. There's a couple things that I'd like to change. But, anyways, we'll move on, because you probably don't have a lot of time, or you just need to eat something, right?
I'm fine, man. I'm pretty chill.
Okay. So what we can do here is the first roll you're going to make is roll a d10, and this is going to be the type of tech you were trained to be. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is who you are now. It's just...
4. Small electronics technician.
Small electronics technician.
That'll work. Gadgets.
Yeah. So did you have a partner, or did you work alone?
So I get to choose if I had a partner before.
Yeah.
That mentor.
Yep.
I'm sure that would fill in that gap, though.
Yeah. So, you can have him as a partner if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, that would work. That would work, since I got to fill that slot.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll have to go with got a partner. So go ahead and roll a d6.
A d6. 2.
2, and it was an old friend, but we'll just say it's a mentor, because that's what we were going to go for with the original story. I see that it's down there, so won't worry about that. Okay, and then we'll roll to see what your workplace was like. So go ahead and roll a d6.
3.
3. Totally digital and obsessively backed up everything every day.
Okay.
So it was probably wherever you were working, it was state of the art, and they kept everything on, and they recorded everything. So, okay. So who were your main clients? Go ahead and roll a d6.
A 6.
A 6. You work for yourself and sell what you invented and repaired. So you probably made some sort of custom gadgets for people.
Yeah.
So,
which makes sense.
Yeah. So where do you get your supplies? Roll a d6.
6.
6. You hit the night markets and score deals whenever you can. So what happens, because there's no real formal way to buy new equipment, because the supply chains are kind of effed because of this big corporate war that happened.
Yeah.
There's these things called night markets, which are kind of like overnight setup shops that a lot of fixers will kind of get started. So you know where these where these night markets start, and you know how to get a good deal there.
I'm wondering if I could moonlight doing that, basically.
You could.
Or at least at the start of the story, be part of a big tech thing, but have my own thing where I'm making gadgets on my own and getting from the fixers at night, whether or not I'm still with that current day job.
Yeah, so for sure what you're doing is you're probably moonlighting in that job, but it's not paying enough, not nearly enough for you to keep your rent for your shitty apartment.
Yeah.
Or to even to keep your independence, right? So instead of having to force yourself through some sort of weird program where you're going to be kind of an indentured servant, you're like, no, screw it, I want my freedom, right? So, so there's a who's gunning for you. So there's someone that in your past you must have done something, and was related to your past work. So go ahead and roll a d6. 4. A large manufacturer is trying to bring you down because your mods are a threat to them. So there's a corporation that has you flagged.
Sweet. All right.
All right.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah. All right, and that's it for your individual background. So that kind of gives you an idea of what type of character, like what your past is going to be. It gives you a little bit of time to come up with a story before we get into play, which you don't have to share. That's just something fun that you kind of get to know.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what we're going to do then is we're going to find out what your stats are. So essentially what we're going to do, are you still looking at my screen here?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're going to do is we're just going to go with a straight array. So we're doing this as simple as possible. So just go ahead and roll D10, and then you just get that complete straight array.
8.
8. Okay.
So 8, 8, 7, 8, 5, 4.
Yeah.
6, 5, 6, 6. Okay.
Yeah. So what these are is you're going to have 10 stats. So your intelligence is going to be 8.
All right.
Your reflex is 8.
Well,
you can kind of see the headings there, right?
Yeah. I'm going to rewatch this and jot it all down. That's one reason I'm recording it. Yeah.
Okay. That's perfect.
So.
Yeah. So then you have your dex and your tech and your cool and your will, your luck, your move, your body, and your empathy. So this is what you have for that. I guess we could just move on then. That.
The straight array is pretty cool. That's a good option.
Yeah. I found when I looked at it, I was like, okay, good. So we can go through and you can buy all your stats and everything, or you can go through and roll every stat with that chart. But I'm like, I just want to keep it simple and kind of get people started right away. So.
Yeah, it's good to give you that option, especially if you're doing a one shot. You don't know,
Yeah. So here, I'll give you a quick look here. So these are kind of your derived statistics that you're going to write on your sheet. So this is going to be your hit points. So what you'll do is you'll just take your total, you'll take your body and compare it with your will, and then up in the middle is going to be your hit points.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're going to have a humanity ranking, which is a part of your character that slowly starts to go down the more cybernetics you implant yourself with. If you ever get down to 0 humanity, you go cyber psycho, and your character's considered non-playable because you're such a sociopath and just obsessed with progressively upgrading yourself, and you just kill people. You have no empathy at all at that point.
Yeah, your humanity's lost basically at that point.
Yeah. So basically it tells you, depending on what your empathy stat is, that's how much humanity you have. Okay?
Okay.
And we'll get into mechanics at another time, usually when everybody kind of gets into it here. So what I'll do is I'll just take you straight to the chart, and then you can kind of take a capture of it or just take a look at it. But essentially what you're doing is you're just writing down the numbers on the stat block here. So tech, which is the 4th one there. So you just write in that your athletics is 2, your brawling is 2, your concentration is 2, conversation is 2. So the conversation skill is you learning data from people without making it obvious.
Okay.
Again, just regular conversation, education, evasion. So essentially what you're doing is you just write down these skills and write the number beside it.
Okay.
So how the game works is all these skills will match up with a stat. And then so what you do is you combine the stat and the skill level and you roll a d10. Tell me what you got when you have it all added up together. And I put that against a difficulty value, which you have to exceed.
Okay. So the roll plus, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a stat and a skill. Roll a d10, add all your numbers together, and see if you beat the difficulty value I assigned to you.
Yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah. So that's a pretty easy one for skills. If you want to just take a look at that. Now I'm probably going to have to go through and get all this. So this is just talking about equipment. Okay, so as a tech,
that's what I was about to ask if it had that.
Yeah, so as a tech, you can either begin with a shotgun or an assault rifle. So the benefit of having an assault rifle, so ranges do matter in this game. An assault rifle is actually not great at point blank or in close quarters. It's better for medium range and long, and to a certain extent long range. But its biggest asset is that you can go into a full auto mode. So in case you need to fill someone with bullets right away, you can always just hit the selector switch and go through pretty much most of your clip in order to try and make something dead.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
But then there's also the shotgun. So a shotgun will usually fire two kinds of ammunition. It'll fire either a basic slug, which it does a lot of damage, or it'll fire a shell. So in this one, it says it's a shell, so that's like a flechette round. So essentially what it'll be is anything that's in front of you that's within, like almost, what is it? It'll be 2, 4, 6. It'll be like an 8 yard by 8 yard kind of, well, essentially a cone that's in front of you. It's just all hit.
For this character, a shotgun would go.
Okay, so what you want to go then is just with a shotgun, and then you give yourself basically 100 shells.
Yeah.
You have a flashbang grenade, which will temporarily stun people for a limited time. And you have this thing known as a light armor jack, which is just one of the lightest basic military armors that you can get.
Okay.
So what you would do is, if you see it on your sheet, you're going to keep track of the stopping power, or that SP.
SP is supposed, yeah.
Yeah, so every time you would take that an amount of damage, you subtract that much damage from what you're taking. Reduce the SP by 1 if you actually got hit, like if you take a hit point. So your armor will slowly degrade the more it actually pierces through and hits you.
That's pretty sweet. So it's a soak, and it doesn't permanently reduce 1 unless you're actually
unless
your
it
body
actually
is hit.
Yeah, unless you are actually hit.
Penetrated, basically.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. And then so then this is just going to be your standard gear. So this is stuff that you're going to have. So what they have is they have something, it's an AI smartphone that you carry around. So it's just exactly like what we have now, where it's just like a smartphone, except it's a little bit more advanced, where it can determine where you are, what you need, and can make suggestions of where you need to go and whatnot. So you're going to begin the game with this thing called an agent, and that's what that is. You can make phone calls, you can text, you can order things online, possibly, if they're available. You also have an anti-smog breathing mask, which means you're not going to suffer any penalties if you're ever stuck in smog or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Or if there's any kind of a gas or anything in a room. You have a disposable cell phone where you can make a call that can't be
traced.
Yeah. You have 5 rolls of duct tape because you're a tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. A flashlight, 6 road flares, a tech bag, which is essentially a tool bag. So anytime you're going to be working with tech, whether it's working with drones or gun emplacements or trying to open up a door or anything like that, you're going to need to have this tech bag in order to make those rolls. If you don't, the difficulties are going to be substantially higher.
Yeah, you can't work on this stuff.
Exactly. And right now, I'm not going to worry about keeping track of clothes. I think that might be a little bit of a a thing. You just have a couple sets of clothes that you're carrying around with you. And for you, it's probably going to be mostly Salvation Army finds, or whatever you can get in the dumpster.
I want to wear a blue leisure suit.
Yeah. Hell, it could even be something like you just saw that there was a body all shot up, but he had a great set of pants that weren't shot through. So.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing we're going to get done real quick is your cyberware that you're going to start with. Okay. So as a tech, you will have... So you're going to have a cyber eye.
All right.
Okay.
Micro-optics.
Micro-optics. So micro-optics doesn't really give you like an... It doesn't give you a huge benefit, say, like in combat or anything like that, but it will allow you to look at things really close if you need to do any kind of delicate work. And for that, I would give you a bonus. So if it ends up like you're trying to open up a mechanical lock, or if you need to work with anything small to get, like, maybe someone's cyber arm gets all shot up, and you need to fix it or get a temporary fix for it, I might give you a bonus for that. Even though it doesn't have it in the game, I'm like, it kind of got to give you something, right?
Yeah.
So it just allows you to zoom up on small areas so that you can do delicate work. You also have a skin watch, which is you just look at your arm or the back of your hand and a watch shows up in LEDs.
Okay.
And a tool hand. So you do have a tool probably built into one of your hands, so that technically you don't need the tech bag. You do have one built in, but you're probably going to end up using your tool bag more than your tool hand. That's kind of, I'd say, probably a last case scenario.
Okay. 12 humanity lost.
Yeah, so when you make the character and you write down, so it's not the empathy that will go down right away, so you're going to lose 12 humanity.
Yeah.
But that 12 humanity will reduce your empathy by 2.
Okay.
Okay? All right. And that's pretty much it. That's when we just have everything written down on the sheet. That's that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to kind of go through it just to kind of do a quick, like, okay, this is what you get, this is what you get. So you have some idea what your character has, because I have a feeling like Jason and Todd just said that they would go with a pre-made, which is great. But then you come into that scenario where you might take a look at the sheet and it looks a little bit overwhelming. He might not know all the stuff he can do.
Yeah. But
right?
in general, as far as the basic core mechanic, you're looking at, you provide the difficulty value that we're rolling against.
Yeah.
I take any gear and any skill sets I have.
Yeah.
Or you take those
and I'll add a modifier to it. So chances are, if you're like, well, there's a mechanical door, it's hydraulic, I can break into it. What do I roll? And I'll say, well, it's not a very difficult door. I mean, you guys are kind of in the combat zone, which is like a forever ghetto that always has a firefight somewhere. Yeah. And I'll say, like, you know what? The cops don't care. Like, you know, like it's some guy's probably on the cheap just trying to lock this storage unit. So, you know, I'll give you like a 10 because it makes it just... It's like an everyday job. So you're like, okay, well, I have a 5 in tech. It's basic technology, which is probably going to be a 6. So I have an 11. And then I get to add my die roll. So it's like, well, yeah, in that case, you don't even need to roll. You can just do it.
Yeah.
Because you're that competent at it. You're like, yeah, I just take a wrench, bang it on the side of the door, and it opens, right?
Well, that's good, man. That's fairly easy. Yeah. You know, I don't know where... That's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, I think the more important thing is to kind of give yourself a little bit of a history, and that way you kind of know what type of character you're playing. Because for this particular game, I kind of just don't want to default and like, oh yeah, we're in combat. Oh yeah, we're in combat. I'd like to take a little bit of slow time to kind of talk and have a discussion as characters.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, you know that's my default setting, play style anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would really work well. And even stepping through the history of this character lets me, you know, of course I'm going to sit here and connect the dots and go, oh, I know what this dude is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
But it'll be me and Todd and Jason and anybody else, or?
Yeah, so it's you, Todd, Jason, David, and then a new guy that I'm bringing. His name is James. So.